I'm about to be butchered in the comments. Why am I doing this video? Hello all of my otaku friends, my name is Profitaku, and welcome back to my channel. As we end the year of 2021 and the craziness that is the pandemic, we have all read a ton of manga. Some good, some meh, and some terrible. Well, this video is going to be my top 5 most controversial drops of 2021. Stay tuned. So before we start this video, I do want to say these are my opinions, and if your favorite series is on here, I'm so sorry, but that's just how I feel about the series. Man, some of y'all are ruthless in some manga tuber videos, just like, I hate you. Just like, why? Why are we so angry? But yeah, these are just my opinions. With that being said, let's start off with the first series. So the first series that I dropped at the beginning of the year was a light novel series. We're not talking about the anime, we're not talking about the manga adaptation, we're talking about the original source material. This is Snafu, or My Youth Romantic Comedy is Wrong as I Expected. So what issues did I have with the series? You know, this was a tough one. I love rom-com, I love humor, I love the kind of the sheltered protagonist. I thought this light novel series was going to be an absolute hit with me. And in some parts of it, it really was. Some things I really did like about it. I love the light novel artwork. It's really cool. I love the characters. Great cast of characters, with the exception of a couple, but I really do love all of the side characters. Another thing that I really liked were the action scenes, or just like the pinnacle moments of each volume. Those really stuck out to me as really interesting, very entertaining, things that brought the storyline along. The biggest issue that I had with the light novel, which I don't think is an issue in the anime. I don't know, I haven't tried it. These are just based on what people have told me about the anime. The issue I had with the light novel was the pacing of it. Can't have a light novel series where 95% of it is just monotonous dialogue, minimal progression, slow development, and then you get that last 5% where you get this action scene or like the big pinnacle event that leads you into the next series. Don't get me wrong, I read 7 volumes of this. I really gave it a good shot. And so, you know, it's not like I just read 1 volume and said forget it. No, I really did. There were parts of this I really did enjoy, but overall the pacing was just, there were so many problems with it. If I have to sit back in a light novel series and go, well, when's the next thing gonna happen? Well, that's a big issue for me. Now, that is to say that, you know, you can put up the argument of, hey, you know, character development, knowing more about the character and the intricacies of their mind. But when it happens every single volume, especially with the main character and his whole persona of being like this I hate the world type of thing, when it's the same kind of dialogue every volume, I just can't read it. It just gets really boring to me. Those are the issues that I had with it. That being said, I think that this works as a light novel for some people, but for some people it really doesn't. So take it or leave it. But that's the number 1. That's the first drop series of 2021. The next drop series that I had was a very recent one, and one that you guys were more angry about than any other series that I've ever talked about on the channel, and that's Zom 100. I read volumes 1 to 4, and it kicked the curb. Here's why. The problem with Zom 100 is that you're not getting the money's worth of the material. And what I mean by that is it really bothered me that I was paying a Viz signature price for like 4 chapters of manga, and it was like this small. So if I'm gonna pay that much for manga, these chapters better be home runs. You know, they've got to be perfect. For 50 to 75% of each volume, I was like, okay, like, sure. It was just not enough comedy or enough interest for me to keep going. When I hit volume 3, and I think volume 3 is the most controversial of the series, if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, read through volume 3, you'll know what I'm saying. But volume 3 was like, why did I pay for this? You know, why is this a thing? Because at that point we were starting to see, hey, this is just what the series is going to be about. And if this is kind of what you like, then sure. But to me, there was just no progression to the story. Yeah, they added some characters and the situations are different, don't get me wrong. But I just think for what I'm paying for the price, for 4 volumes, I just needed a little bit more. And I just didn't get enough. I didn't laugh enough. I think the artwork is great. I think the characters are really interesting. And I do think the premise is really different. A very different take on zombie apocalypse. But overall, it's just not worth the investment for me if it's something that I'm going to read and go, okay, well, that was a thing. I just have to be a little bit more strict with my drops. So yeah, Zom 100, a controversial drop, but one that I'm really glad that I made. So the next series that I had a problem with and that I dropped was a series that I actually did a first impressions on, and that was Fly Me to the Moon, and I dropped it after 5 volumes. Here's why. The manga had an identity problem. In the first volume and a half, we get a really interesting, unique rom-com storyline. We have a boy and a girl. The boy gets in an accident. He's saved by this girl in some mysterious way. The boy falls in love and says, hey, when we grow older, I want to marry you. And the girl says, sure. And then he grows up, she grows up, she turns 18, she knocks on the apartment, she goes, hey, I'm ready to get married. And it's their journey. They start this new relationship while also being husband and wife. It's a really cute storyline. And presented in that first volume and a half, we get the supernatural aspect. How did she save the boy? You know, we see parts of the family and like the way they interact with this girl and the things in their house. And it's like, whoa, there's something weird going on here. The identity crisis comes presented in the next 3 volumes after the second half of volume 2. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. It's just a boring slice of life manga. Hey, let's go buy some furniture. Hey, let's go cook dinner. Hey, let's go take a walk in the park. Let's go to the bathhouse. It's just meh. It was just meh. And the cool premise that they set up at the beginning of the series is not even touched upon. And with the shallow storyline, the mediocre artwork, and kind of the boring characters, especially our main character, Nasa, the boy, I just couldn't keep going with this manga. If you read this manga, let me know if it gets any better. Because, you know, after 5 volumes, I just thought, hey, this ain't going in the direction that I want it to. If the storyline is meh and they lose the identity to what makes it great in the first place, then yeah, it's going to be a series that I'm going to drop. This one had a lot of potential, but it's just not something that I could really grasp onto, especially since I gave it a good shot. The 4th series that I dropped in 2021, that's honestly probably the most notable and the one maybe the most controversial, is Norigami. I gave it a 3-volume rule. I read volumes 1 to 3 and I really had no desire to keep going. And here's why. I had a big problem with the character. We've got 3 different characters. We've got the main god who's trying to make his way up in the world. And then we have this girl who honestly is annoying and forgettable, and I don't really care about her, and she just adds more problems to the storyline. And then we have the god's assistant or the weapon, this little boy. And I just hated the boy. I just hated the way he was written. He gets presented in the 2nd volume, I think. And between the 2nd and the 3rd volume, all I did was just get angry at this boy. And, you know, I know he has a problem and they're trying to fix the problem. And because of this problem, he's just an angry little boy. But the problem is it just did not keep flowing in those 3 volumes. It seemed like the same problems were happening in almost every chapter. And after 3 volumes, we really didn't see any sort of progression. Now, this series is 20 plus volumes long, so obviously there's more going on here. And maybe it does get better, but with the combination of the characters that I really just don't like or care about, and also the storyline, you know, this seems like a storyline that I've read before, and it's just the same old fight them out, progress the hero into something better. And it's just not unique enough for me to invest in such a long series. And I think that's like one thing that's going to propel me into 2022 is if the series is not unique and it really doesn't grip me and progress in the first 3 volumes, I'm probably going to drop it. And that's what happened with Norigami. But overall, it just wasn't enough for me to grasp onto. So yeah, Norigami, meh. You know, it wasn't bad, but it really wasn't good either. The last big series that I dropped in 2021 was Moriarty The Patriot. I did also give this the 3-volume rule, 1 to 3. I had volumes 4 and 5 pre-ordered, but after volume 3, I axed it. Here's why. Moriarty The Patriot had the problem of redundancy, which was super weird considering I only read 3 volumes in. How can you be redundant after 3 volumes? Well, here's the problem, and I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to give you a general synopsis of each storyline. So we've got the first volume, which is Moriarty saves some children. We've got the second volume, which is a really unique mystery with a boat, and we see a new character come in, which is like the premise of Moriarty the Patriot. You have Moriarty, and then you have the rival, which is Sherlock Holmes. We're seeing the opposite side of it with Moriarty. We're looking at Moriarty, who's the rival, and we see what he's doing. That's the whole premise of the story. So we get this really unique, interesting mystery on a boat with Sherlock Holmes. And then the third volume, instead of doing something new, something different, they're saving some kids again. And it's honestly, it's not even that they're saving kids. It was like literally the same like idea. Oh, there's some kids in danger. They're like being locked up. Let's save them. It wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. I was like, why are we doing this again? We're only 3 volumes in. Well, I want something new. I want something with Sherlock. I want more stuff. And then another problem I had was this is really, really text heavy. And I don't mind text. I read light novels. But when the progression of the storyline is really minimal and it's hindered by all this really sophisticated mumbo jumbo that really doesn't do a lot to the story, I can't get behind it. So yeah, Moriarty the Patriot volumes 1 to 3, I just really bothered me of the redundancy of it and how the manga presented each story arc. I really did enjoy Moriarty for what it was, especially in the first 2 volumes. I have never had a volume leave such a sour taste in my mouth other than Moriarty Volume 3 and Zom 100 Volume 3. Those really turned me off to those series. And I wish that it would have done something different. Now maybe there's more to Moriarty that I'm just missing. Let me know in the comments, should I pick this back up? But to me personally, I just could not get past that volume 3. It really, really upset me. I wish it would have gone in a different direction because this had the potential to really be amazing. And it's just something I can't get behind. So those are my top 5 most controversial drops of 2021. This is a 2-part series. We just finished the drops. Now we're going to go into my top 5 favorite manga reads that I had in 2021, and that will be for next week's video. That should round out our 2021 videos for MangaTube. So I hope that you're looking forward to that one. It will definitely be a lot more positive than this video, but yeah, let me know down in the comments, what manga did you drop this year? Why did you drop it? Is there anything controversial? I didn't just drop these 5. I dropped about, I don't know, I think maybe 13 or 14 different series in this year, but these were the 5 that I think caused the most conflict because they are really popular on my anime list. But that is to say, I think that everybody has their own different tastes and different unique perspectives on it, and what some people like, some people really don't like. I mean, look at Berserk. Some people hate Berserk, but Berserk's #1. So I mean, you know, it's just that's just how it is. That's what makes the community so much fun. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, tap the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you know when more of my videos come out. I will see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.